Good afternoon to you. It's top of the hour, 3 p.m. here in Nairobi, East African time. My name is Miriam Mugutu. The show is Diaspora Dispatches, and in case you're new to the show, we get to bring you the latest news from across the continent of Africa. Good morning, good evening, depending on where you're tuned in this day, the 21st of April 2022. We will start with Angola today and Italy on Wednesday penned a deal with Angola to ramp up gas supplies from the southern African country as it urgently scrambles to break away from Russian gas over the Ukraine war. A declaration of intent was signed to develop new natural gas ventures and to increase exports to Italy, a statement from the Italian Foreign Minister announced. Prime Minister Mario Draghi wants to add Angola and Congo-Brazzaville to a portfolio of suppliers to substitute Russia, which provides, to add Angola and Congo-Brazzaville, which provides about 45% of Italian gas. And then we move on to the Ivory Coast, and Côte d'Ivoire's new Vice President Tiemoko Mailet Kone took the oath of office on Wednesday before the Constitutional Council in Abidjan, a day after his appointment to the post, which had been vacant for nearly 2 years. On Tuesday, in front of deputies and senators gathered in Congress in the Ivorian political capital, Yamoussoukro, President Ouattara announced the appointment as Vice President of Mr. Kone, Governor of the Central Bank of West African States, since 2011. The post of Vice President, enshrined in the last constitutional reform of 2016, had been vacant since July 2020, and the resignation of Daniel Kabanda for personal reasons. According to Article 62 of the Constitution, the Vice President becomes President by right in case of vacancy, by death, resignation, or absolute impediment of the latter. And we head over to Ethiopia. And at least 20 people have been killed and 50 others wounded in clashes in Ethiopia's Amhara region, officials have said. Different sides have blamed each other for the violence. Amhara officials say the Oromo Liberation Army rebel group was behind the violence, while Oromo officials blame Amhara militias known as Fano. Neither group has yet to comment. More than 5,000 people are also displaced in the violence that lasted for several days. The violence took place in remote villages in Amhara and neighbor Jile Dumuga of Oromo Zone, district of North Shore Zone. And we head over to Botswana. A court in Botswana has summoned former President Ian Khama to appear before it today on multiple criminal charges, including possession of firearms. The unprecedented charge sheet showed that Mr. Khama was accused alongside 3 others. The private Mwengi website reported he and ex-intelligence chief Isaac Kosi, former Police Commissioner Kapetswe Makope, and ex-Deputy Permanent Secretary Bruno Paledi face a total of 38 charges, ranging from illegal acquisition of unlawful possession and theft of firearm. In Botswana, the illegal possession of guns could lead to a maximum penalty of 10 years in prison. Mr. Khama previously told South Africa's Daily Maverick newspaper that he keeps his hunting rifles, shotguns, and a few handguns collected over 3 decades at his home. Some of these belong to his official and private security detail. He was quoted as saying, "It is unlikely that Mr. Khama will appear in court in person." Mr. Khama, the son of Botswana's founding president Seretse Khama, went into self-imposed exile in South Africa in November 2021. At the time, he denied that he was fleeing Botswana, but he hasn't returned to the country since. Mr. Khama was the president in Botswana from 2008 to 2018. And Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a phone conversation with South African counterpart Cyril Ramaphosa on Tuesday evening. In a tweet, Mr. Zelensky said the pair talked about his country's resistance to the invasion by Russian troops. They also discussed about relations between the two countries and the cooperation within international organizations. The Ukrainian president has been reaching out to global leaders and regional blocs to solicit world support. Mr. Ramaphosa's office has not issued a statement on the phone call. South Africa was among the 17 African nations that abstained from voting on a United Nations resolution that demanded an end to the Russian offensive in Ukraine. And still matters has to do with Russia, and a Russian soldier has reportedly been killed in Hombori in Mali's central Mpoti region. The AFP news agency quoted a military memo saying that a Russian advisor had struck an improvised explosive device on Tuesday morning. It said that the Russian died after being airlifted to a hospital in the central town of Sevare. The AFP said an unnamed official in Sevare Hospital, official as well as an elected official, had confirmed the death. Mali's army has not officially commented on the events. The Malian junta has repeatedly denied the presence of mercenaries from the Russian paramilitary company Wagner to assist in its counterinsurgency operations. It comes as the United Nations on Wednesday accused Malian authorities of preventing its human rights investigators access to a village where hundreds of people were killed. And we come back to East Africa, this time in Tanzania, and the founder of Tanzania's Umoja Party says they have decided to use the portrait of the late President John Magufuli on their T-shirts because their policies resonate with those of the former leader. Former President Magufuli died in March last year. The party has submitted an application for the registration to the register of the political party, who on Tuesday warned it to stop engaging in political activities without being a registered entity yet. The social media is awash with pictures of people alleged to be followers of Umoja Party wearing T-shirts with the flag of the party and a picture of Magufuli. Speaking to the Wananchi newspaper, party founder Saif Maalim says they have used Magufuli's image to popularize the party. And in Liberia, the health ministry has confirmed an outbreak of measles affecting 14 of the 15 counties in the country. Chief Medical Officer Francis Kate said there were reports of deaths in the wake of outbreak, but he was not sure if they were all measles related. He told a radio program that the outbreak was as a result of low immunization rates. He said many parents stopped taking their children for vaccination since the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic. And then we head over back to Mali, and the United Nations has expressed concern that Malian authorities have denied its human rights investigations access to a village where hundreds of people were killed. It says that time is of essence to ensure accountability and prompt effective justice for victims, noting that it first sought access to the site of the killings on the 1st of April. Malian troops and their Russian collaborators are accused of carrying out a massacre of civilians during an operation against militants last month. At least 300 people were believed to have been executed during the 27th to 31st March raid in the village of Mura, which is in the Mali's central Mpoti region. The killings sparked calls by the Human Rights Watch, the US, the European Union, the UN, and called for an independent investigation into the matter. The Malian army insists that those killed were jihadist fighters, and the allegations of a massacre is an attempt to tarnish its image. A Russian foreign ministry spokesperson said there has been a successful operation by Mali's army alone. And then just matters, African Union and the AU now has donated about $150,000 towards relief efforts following the devastating floods in South Africa's KwaZulu-Natal province. More than 440 people died in the floods, which swept through the province last week. The floods also caused massive damage to infrastructure. Announcing the donation, AU Commission Chairperson Musa Faki Mohammed said the body reaffirmed its support with South Africa during this very difficult time. And some good news back here at home, because now tech giant Google has announced that it will build its first product development center in Africa in Kenya's capital here in Nairobi. In 2018, the company announced a $1 billion investment plan for Africa to capitalize on the growing number of internet users on the continent. Earlier this year, payments technology firm Visa and computer software giant Microsoft also opened innovation hubs in Nairobi. The centers will see job opportunities for software engineers, researchers, and designers. And then we go on to Egypt, and the Egyptian government has expressed a readiness in sending experts to build the capacity of national police forces in the country. This is according to Egyptian ambassador in Juba, Mortez Mustafa Abdikader. This will include prison service, civil defense forces, and CID, among others. Mustafa Abdikader made the announcement after meeting the Minister of Interior, Mahmoud Solomon, at the embassy yesterday. For his part, Major General Daniel Justin, the spokesperson of the National Police, emphasized on cooperation between the two countries since 2007. He told a local media station that the training was stopped due to the outbreak of the 2013 war in South Sudan. And to end the news this afternoon, there are some disturbing reports. There is still a developing story from Nigeria. We don't have the full information, but as I said, it is a developing story, and perhaps tomorrow we shall have the latest or more of this story, something that happened last night. And terrorists are said to have attacked Gaydam local government area of Yobe State and banned a technical college in the town. It was learned that one person was killed in the Wednesday evening's attack. And of course, a chairman of Gaydam, Ali Kolo, is said to have confirmed the incident. So the information about this attack is still very scanty, but I'm sure by the time, God willing, we come back here tomorrow, we shall have the full information. And of course, that also continue to highlight for us how the issue of insecurity continue to be pervasive there in Nigeria. I don't know if there's ever going to be an end to this, maybe in the new leadership after President Major General what is his name? Buhari retires. Perhaps the next president will take on, the issue of security very, very seriously. Of course, his current vice president is also running for next year's election. He has declared his presidency. He did that about 2 weeks ago. And he said the government right now has done so much. In fact, in matters security, he feels like they've done a good job. I don't know how many Nigerians would agree with that, but that's how he feels. And he says a lot of things that are happening right now in this government. He intends to carry them forward and build on them. But, I don't have a vote in Nigeria, so I don't know how much say I have in that. But I think Nigerians will decide for themselves using their votes, and they will see if at all should they continue with somebody who will continue with their policies and how President Buhari has been handling issues in Nigeria. Would they want to try somebody else different? But that is there. All right. So African Union has donated some money to South Africa. We know Durban has been affected by flooding, the coastal town in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. And it's the first time I'm hearing African Union helping, because we have a lot of crises and situations that requires a lot of help in this continent. And I've not heard African Union help before. Maybe it does through food donations and stuff, but very rarely. But it has gone ahead and donated around $150 to South Africa to help the people who have since been affected. These floodings have claimed about 440 lives so far, and a lot of destruction, massive destruction, has been experienced in this area. So that is also something to ponder about, and it will take a lot of time to rebuild. And some other people's lives have been completely destroyed. So it's been a lot of losses there, and the loss of life. So hopefully they will have time to rebuild. Others will take so much time. Others. But we wish them all the best. So this saga in Botswana never seems to end between, the former President Ian Khama and right now, of course, this is the court giving this order. His former president is expected to appear in court. Ian Khama, we know. He was very good friends with the current president, Mokwetsi Matiti. In fact, Ian Khama had picked him to, for him to succeed him. And then after Matisi came into power, it hasn't worked well. It made even Ian Khama leave the party that he had served with for 10 years in Botswana. and now he seems to be facing other charges. Apparently, him and other, officials who had worked with him in his government are facing several charges, and a total of 38 charges ranging from illegal acquisition, unlawful possession, and theft of firearms. And so this is quite unprecedented. Ian Khama even got tired after the re-election of Masisi. I think he left and he went to stay in South Africa. He said, I just need a break from Botswana. So he's been staying in South Africa. They call it self-imposed exile. So I don't know if he showed up today in court to answer to these charges. But there has been a lot of acrimony between these two leaders who were bosom buddies when Ian Khama was the president. I think it's very bitter because he chose Masisi to replace him, and then Masisi comes into power and becomes his own man. And now look at what has been happening. So all right. Even last elections, for the re-election of Masisi, Ian Khama was supporting an opposition leader, for that. So, but that did not work out, and so I think that's when he decided to leave and go self-exiled himself in South Africa. So I'll let you know tomorrow if at all he even bothered to show up, because he also has some level of arrogance in him. I've watched him before, and there's a movie I was watching. I didn't know until I was in the middle of that movie. I can't remember the name, but it is a movie that was playing the life of his father, who was the founding father of Botswana, father of Ian Khama, a long time ago. I think maybe 4 years ago. I can't remember. That's why I can't remember the name of that movie. It's a very interesting story, the odds that the father had to fight through during those times of high racism and apartheid, even in Botswana itself. And the father went abroad, married this white woman. That's why Ian Khama looks the way he looks. He's half white, half black. It's a very interesting story. If you can find time to look for it, I can't remember the name, but it gives you a perspective and a history of how far Botswana has come as a country. So that is what I've had time for you this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Diaspora Dispatches. My name is Miriam Ogutu. I'll see you here back tomorrow, God willing. Bye-bye for now.